Hello guys, I'm Vignesh. I run a UI UX studio called Arivo. Yesterday we launched our website, our revamped website, and a lot of well-wishers congratulated me on having a team of 6 to 8 people working full time and being slightly profitable company for a period of like 16 months what we existed without any external funding, and me coming from a background where a typical middle class background where having a secure job, clearing your EMIs, saving for your home is what is of a priority, which is the reality even in today's day and age for me, right? So a lot of people kind of got this impression that there would be some magic formulae or certain things which worked in our favor, or that it is easy to do kind of stuff, right? Nothing wrong in what they pursue, because when I was an employee, that's the way I saw about startups and entrepreneurship. Like everything, if you take the risk, if you put in your efforts, things will work in your favor, kind of stuff, right? So that's fine. I'm happy that I could inspire some of you people. A couple of them, people who were not in my contact list, reached out to me over LinkedIn, kind of asking advices or suggestion on how they can build their creative service agency and all those stuff, right? And I started realizing that maybe I was giving a wrong signal at times, of it being highly successful or it being highly easily achievable stuff, right? So just want to clear certain things through this video, right? Take it as a reality check. If you are going to start your startup or kind of get into the freelance thing, take this video as a way to understand that it is tough. It can be done, but it is tough, and you need to be ready to take certain pains. You can avoid certain pains and choose something else, which is fine, but there would be a certain amount of pain which will come into your life if you get into entrepreneurship, right? I'm not trying to discourage any of you, but also do not want to set you up for something which you are not ready for. Right. The very first thing, starting a business without money is possible. We did it, and we could survive, and we could make ourselves profitable, and we are slowly getting into the kind of clients we wanted when we started it out, right? So it is possible, and definitely it's something which should not stop you from starting. Just not having capital should not stop you from getting into your dreams. However, be ready that it will hit your personal finances. It will hit your hiring process, right? Out of I think when you see the 8 people team, it looks like awesome and all, but then I think there were minimum of 12 people to whom we offered the job letters, and they did not turn up, thinking because we were not an established firm per se. There were another 6 to 7 people who joined us but left us, citing multiple reasons, but primarily it was boiling down to that you do not have the kind of projects, or you are not compensating us on the industry standards, or we don't have the perks, we do not have the MacBook given to us, and all, right? So that is going to happen, right? And that's going to hurt you badly, right? Because you would be getting a client, be really happy that you got a project done, and then there would be a designer here who would quit the very next week, saying that he's not feeling confident to work on the project because he feels he's not working in the most amazing studio per se, right? And then you kind of have to figure out how do you get it done, right? So starting without money comes with a lot of pain of someone rejecting you, and rejection wouldn't come from your clients per se. Rejections will come from your teammates, right? The people who you are trying to hire, right? And in a way it's a good thing, because we have now just have the people who want to work for the joy of working. We compensate them almost on the industry standards, like any of the good service agencies or design studios, and our salaries are on par, and in some cases are higher than the thing. However, the first 6 months was really difficult, right? Either you feel that you are underpaying your designer, which hurts you a lot because you see that designer putting his heart and soul into the project, or you end up hiring someone where you feel that they are underskilled per se, right? And then your mind kind of says, with this budget I can hire only someone like this, and then I can train them into a better designer. which hasn't happened. If someone joins you thinking that they are joining here just to get experience so that they get a better job, they neither get a better job, they neither get experience, and they end up sucking time of people who are better skilled than them in the company, and they kind of start treating your company as a way for them to get upskilled, right? They have a very narrow short term vision, and then they end up eating your valuable resources time, right? So if you're starting a company with a very small budget and a small segment of clients, ensure that you hire only the people who you would want to hire if you were well funded. Don't hire people who are underskilled. It's okay, you might end up being a two people agency, which is fine. Never hire a person who is underskilled unless you have the bandwidth to kind of train them for next 6 months and get them to the speed, 3 months, 6 months, whatever period of time, right? Which if you're starting with a very shoestring budget, you would not be able to do. So that would be the first thing. Be very, very cautious when you are hiring, right? Every penny you are spending on your team should be valuable, not only from the return on investment perspective, but it should not lead to any guilt that someone is kind of goofing around with your time, right? For early stage agency, the founder's time is of the most crucial thing, which I did not realize in first few months. I was like, let me spend time building the people, but not everyone is worth it, right? Be very clear about that, right? Just trying to set that expectation. Do not want to kind of get into this whole glamorizing the team building activity. That team is what your company is, etc., which is all true for a well established firm, but for a startup, for a creative agency in a bootstrap mode, your time is of most important, right? Don't spend your time on people who are not there for long term. That was one. The second thing, the challenge which you will have when you start a agency with a very less amount of money is you should be really good at one of the things, right? You should either be very good with the networking or with the design, hands-on design, or the sales process, or you should already have a set of clients on whom you can depend, right? Without this, any of these four being in your favor, things are stacked against you, right? And do not take it other way, right? I wanted to start a agency like 5 years ago, 2015 2016 time frame. I gave it a try, one and a half month, and I gave it up, right? Then I wanted to start a product company, had a team, joined them, and I was supposed to be the virtual CEO and all. 3-4 months working on it over weekends, realized that team was in shatters and gave it up, right? So my journey to start a company dates back to 2015 14 15 timeline, right? And prior to that, there were like 4 to 5 years of time where I worked with service companies. I was kind of in this pre-sales, talking to the clients, figuring out what works, figuring out what doesn't work, along with my design thing, right? So it was a very very fragmented career I had, right? I had to pay a price for it at different point of times in the whole career, right? It wasn't a very structured career which a lot of people would like to have, right? My first 5 years was with a single company, and for next 5 years I think I kind of switch jobs every 13 or 14 months, right? So but I was clear somewhere in 2015 that I wanted to start my company, and I wasn't clear if it would be a design studio. I thought it would be slightly different, but that 5 years of breaking my head against a wall, trying to figure out what would work, what wouldn't work, saved me my money and time in after I started my company, right? The only reason why we could scale from 0% team to 0 employee team to 8 employee team in a matter of 15 months is practically that there were 3 years prior to that where I had spent trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, right? I tried with freelancers, I tried with me being the designer, I tried with kind of becoming the platform to connect the designers with the clients, right? All the permutation and combination were kind of figured out what works, what doesn't work, what kind of designer I can collaborate with for what kind of clients, right? So all those things were kind of ironed out before I started up, right? Before even I wrote a first email to a client, I knew what kind of clients I wanted to pick and what kind of designer I would offer to them, right? So that saved a lot of pain for me. Uh, One thing which worked in my favor in is that from 2015 to 2020, I was avid networking person. I spoke at design talks. I helped people get hired. I taught at design schools, boot camps. Um, I think I remember before I left Hyderabad in 2018, I went to all the prominent design studios in Hyderabad, sat with their founders for like half an hour or 1 hour, kind of being really shameless. And I was like, I want to start something what you have started, and I need your guidance, right? And each of them were pretty resourceful, and everything which they said why I should not be starting. The one thing which I would ask each of them was like, why do you think I should not start a design studio? And everything what they said was like uh, worth like a year of time saved in my whole journey, right? They said that the biggest challenge you will have is not facing the clients or the team, but facing your own family, because you are denying them certain lifestyle. The second thing which they said is the team would never stay with you beyond the period of time they feel it is right, irrespective of how much they connect with you or they respect with you. Each of them are living their careers, and respect the fact that till their career needs are met with your company, they are with you, and sometimes you would not be able to meet their needs, which is also fine. They told me about being super cautious about collections, which I did not realize at that point of time. But I guess in last 15 months we had close to 50 clients, a huge number, but there were like 6 to 7 clients who did not pay their dues, right? And emotionally, I was never kind of prepared to not rush someone, right? I was always like, okay, it would be delayed by 15 days, a month, TK. It happens, right? But then I realized that there are certain clients who are used to explore designers or design consultancies, right? So I was warned about it earlier. I could not kind of wrap my head around that. So that was another part of thing which I would say that if you're starting without a lot of funds and all, be very cautious of taking advance from the client. It might look rude, it might look rigid, but that's fine, right? They ask you for your design process, you ask for their payment milestones, clean and clear. um, we are here to do business, we are here to help them, and they are here to help us out, right? The false sense of saying that you should take the ownership and it should not be transactional, it should be relationship based and all, right, is all fine unless you kind of give them a call on a day and say that can you help me with running the payroll, because it's not transactional and relationship based. And if they respond saying it's okay Vignesh, take the advance for next month's payment, we are okay with it, then it is relationship based, otherwise it's transactional, right? So treat transactional clients as transactional clients, relationship based clients as relationship based clients, right? Be very clear about that. So that would be the other thing which I would say. The other thing, yeah, I invested a lot of time in understanding the industry and networking with the people. A lot of my clients come through referrals. When I say through referrals, it would be one of my ex-colleagues who is working elsewhere. They would be like, okay, why don't we check with this guy if he could help us with other design project, right? It would be more on those lines, and not a pure not a pure digital marketing leading to a sales, leading to a conversion, right? So my strength comes from being part of the community and establishing some sort of credibility per se, and that comes at a cost, right? That came at my weekend cost during my employment. When I was working at ADP, I think every weekend I used to spend on a conference, organizing a conference in Hyderabad or moving to other cities and participating in it, right? Which primarily meant that I could not give more time either to my family or to the company where I was working, right? Like I knew that I would never be kind of be given 4.5 out of 5 in a performance appraisal thing, right? So it comes at a cost, right? I invested in networking. Some invest in becoming great at sales and having the right kind of marketing team with them. Some invest in becoming the greatest of the designers and ensuring that they build designs which cannot be replicated by others in the same time frame, right? So have at least one thing where you are like a beast, where you are way ahead than 99% of the people in the industry, or even 99.9% of the people in the industry, right? If you're a well-rounded person and trying to build stuff, it would not work. right? The way it worked for me is that I became this super community person, and everything else I built a team around, right? And have a team. I have a co-founder who never wants to come on the stage or have his name even on the website, but I have him. He kind of takes care of all the grunt work where taxations are involved, where invoices are involved, where things around uh, legal aspects, policy making are involved, right? So do not try to start a startup with being the solo founder, right? It will break your back at some point of time, right? So that's other thing which I would say, right? Find a way where you have a co-founder with whom you have a strong sense of belonging, with whom you would like to work for like next 15-20 years, right? So that would be the other thing. Third thing is nothing will happen overnight. uh, Although people think that Arivu is doing really well and we have a great set of clients, 50 clients, 8 people team, uh, overseas clients coming in, enterprise clients coming in, and everything going great, I still feel we are like very early in our process. Maybe if we uh, give ourselves another 20 months, we would be at least close to what I think we could be as a entity, and the real success would start coming only after the 8th or 9th or 10th year, right? So startup is a 10-year game. If you are not ready for it, be very clear that it might not work in your favor. Funded, unfunded, service, product is all secondary. If you're not playing it for a 10-year game, there's a good chance that you will fall under a lot of stress and pressure, right? So sequence it out for a long term thing, and have at least one strength which none of other people in the industry will have, right? If you're great at communities, be that. If you're great at sales, be that. If you're great at production or execution, be that. If you're great at team building, be that, right? I had to structure my last 5 years of my career to get good at each of this at different level, right? uh, I took up mentoring as a mode because I knew that if I had to start my company, I need to mentor my teammates, right? So that had to kind of come through, right? So uh, in short, I think it took me 5 years to get started, be in the job, make savings, make all the things which I was obligated to provide to my family, get that thing done, have a set of small amount of savings so that I could survive without a job for like 9 to 12 months period. Build a team and build all the skills you personally need, or collaborate with the person with whom you can trade off those skills, and then get into a mode where you can get it started, right? The last thing I would want to happen is someone looking at certain milestones or certain internet post from me, which is either directed to attract more team members or directed to attract more clients, and then kind of send this wrong message that starting a design agency is super easy, and if we could, why don't we? I'm 100% sure you would do amazing job at starting a design studio much better than me. I'm just saying that come prepared at least as much as I was, or much better than me, right? So there are certain set of things which will happen when you are starting a company. Uh, you would struggle for cash, you would struggle for the retention of the team, you would struggle for retention of the client, and you will be treated like a glorified vendor who has to chase pillar to pillar to get his dues clear, right? So all that will happen. So be mentally prepared that on a long run you are going to be super successful, but on a short run it's a thankless job, right? No one is going to give you even a slight respect for for the courage you have taken to start a company, right? Everyone would be thinking like, how does it impact my career, how does it impact my project, how does it impact my payment? And that's all right, right? No one is here to make a favor for you, but come with the mindset that despite of all that, you still want to start something on your own and build a name for yourself, and you are in the game for a long period of time, minimum of 10 years time horizon, which I usually think of is 30 years of my career. Can I dedicate 30 years of my career to a cause? And very few causes were there. One was creation of jobs, second one was creative products, right? And choose those fields where you would be happy not switching the field for next 25-30 years of your career, right? And running the company at least for 10 years period, so that any ups and downs is kind of nullified. So this is more of an impromptu talk, which I'm getting more of ad hoc thoughts, which I'm telling to you guys. But the whole purpose is don't get swayed away by the narratives you see on internet saying that someone started their company and they are running it smoothly, and that's entrepreneurship is the best thing. Uh, it might not be for you, and if it is for you, also it might not work without certain amount of preparation you have to put in, right? I would suggest, like, before you start a company, at least give yourself 36 months of time to prepare for that, right? Both from your financial, family, understanding the market, understanding the business, and being mentally ready that for the first 3 months of your starting, like 2017, if I decided to start the company, I should have been ready that I wouldn't start it by 2020, and I should also be ready that till 2023 I'm not going to see any tangible signs of success, right? We are still not among the best of the design studios in Bangalore. Forget about country, right? I think uh, we would have at least 30-40 studios which are performing way better than what we are doing today, right? And if we could come in the league of the top 5-6 in next 20 months, that would be great. We would still not be the best of the studios. It would take us another 4-5 years, our 5th anniversary or 6th anniversary, to be among the top 2-3 studios in India, right? And if you are not prepared for that time, if you are not prepared to wait till you hit your prime, the journey is going to be very stressful, right? The journey is going to be very thankless. Every random person will come and tell you it wasn't worth it, and you should just hear and leave it out, right? So that's the purpose. I'm not sure it's very structured for you guys to make sense of it. So just drop in your comments. I might pick questions from there and upload it as I kind of create a better narrated version and upload it next time. Thank you guys. Take care. Happy weekend.